251. All right, looking at, guys, this is our last lesson before we should be ready to take the next quiz. Ladies, do you need to move apart? Can you handle it? Please stop. When we're subtracting something, we have to distribute a negative through here. So if we're subtracting this, we would say -1 times 4x and -1 times 2. So -1 times 4x is -4x. Why are we still talking? And then -1 times 2 is -2. So we would write it as -4x minus 2. Right? Question. -x. If you could put a negative in for it, and then you'd say -4 times negative whatever minus 2. All right. So you can check to see if these things are additive inverses by adding them together. When we have additive inverses, they should add up to 0. So 4 minus 4x is 0x. Negative or positive 2 minus 2 is 0. So we're just taking the opposite of it. That's what an additive inverse is, all right? Teaching you new terms. All right. So if we find the additive inverse of this expression, we're taking the opposite of it. So -1 times that is -5x. -1 times -7 is +7. So find the additive inverse of this. We're taking -1 and multiplying it through, distributing it to both of these terms. Try that check on page 252. What's -1 times -7x? We're multiplying. 1 times 7 is 7. Our signs are the same, so it's +7. -1 times 3 is what? -3. We're taking the opposite of both of these things. This is as simplified as it gets. All right, so this is where we're headed with this. We learned how to do that because you're going to have to subtract linear expressions. So we're taking this minus that. All your papers are up there. All the 8th grade stuff. On that desk. I don't know what it is you need, but. So in order to do this, we have to distribute this negative through. Notice the first, guys, the first group is staying the same. Cameron, do you need to go? No pigs in the classroom. He's snorting. He's snorting. Fine. That's what he's doing. It was a joke. Haha, funny. All right. Anyway, we're taking this negative through here. So the positive 3y changes to -3y. The positive 4 changes to -4. And then we can combine like terms. So 8 minus 3y is 5y. -5 minus 4 is -9. All right. Here's another method. Most of you decided you didn't really like algebra tiles. But that's how you would use it. Here they're taking the opposite of these things, right? They took the opposite of -3, or the opposite of 3x and the opposite of -2, and then combined them. So that is our answer here. All right, here comes the practice. This negative is like finding the additive inverse, finding the opposite of what is in these parentheses. So we have to change the signs. So our first group stays the same. But these, we take the opposite of. We end up with -8x and +7. Now we can just combine them. So -3 minus 8 is -11x. 9 plus 7 is 16, and that is positive. So we're writing +16. Brooklyn, put your phone away, whatever it is you're doing. Because I asked you to put them away. They're distracting. None of you know how to use them appropriately. I've got calculators if you need them. Oh, too bad. All right, last example. It's got those dreaded fractions in it. We're gonna find the opposite of these things, guys, so that we add the opposite. So this is -1/6x, and this is +3/8. And then they're putting these so that the like terms are in columns. So we see that 2/3 has to be combined with -1/6. Well, we need common denominators. How do I change 3 to 6? Multiply by 2. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. That's where this 4/6 is coming from. Then I see I need to combine 1/2 with 3/8. So how do I change 2 to an 8? I multiply by 4. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Now, what we need to combine have common denominators. 4/6 minus 1/6 is 3/6x. 4/8 plus 3/8 is 7/8. And we have to simplify. I can divide both of these by 3. So I end up with 1/2 x plus 7/8 is as simplified as it gets. Keaton, do you need to go? You need to stop being disruptive. So this is your answer. That's what we got. Try this next one. Remember, take this negative through here, then line them up and decide which denominators you have to get in common. So your first step is to, I'm just going to rewrite this first part because that's staying the same. But since I have a negative in front of this, these have to be the opposite. So this is going to be -1/2 x. And this is going to be +1/8. I need to find common denominators here. So I would multiply these both by 3. Cameron, why am I talking to you again? Please stop talking. So this becomes negative 3 6x. And this becomes, we got to multiply them both by 2 because we want it to have the same denominators. This becomes 6/8. So this is negative 4 6, right? This combined with this is negative 3 minus 1. So negative 4 6x. And it's a lot of changing denominators. Plus 7 8. I know. It's hard to follow. We're not going to spend a ton of time worrying about your fractions because you don't have to worry about them on the quiz.
Maybe I should draw a line for that.
I think you'll be okay. All right, let's look at. In fact, we can even cross these. Don't worry about your fractions. This is page 257. This is numbers 1 through 8. And number 13. So as long as you can work with your whole numbers, remember you're distributing the negative through and combining it with this. Distribute your negative through and combine this. These are asking for your additive inverse. So you're saying negative 1 times 3x minus 6, which is negative 3x plus 6. That's all 1 through 3 is asking. Let's do one of these for more practice. This first part is staying the same. But notice this negative has to be distributed through here. So the opposite of 6x is negative 6x. And the opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. Then you can add these up, right? 2x plus 11. I added. All right, I'm going to pull this back up in just 2